So my last video was about how players can deal with burnout from Genshin, and some people misunderstood take a break with don't criticize MiHoYo. I guess some of you guys want me to see how I destroy MiHoYo, right? You want me to be on the front line with my cock outside. You want to see meat, blood and shit flying around. Well, let's hear how MiHoYo can cry. Or we can just relax and try not to make hot takes on this topic and try to be reasonable. So let's ask yourself, is there really a problem on the MiHoYo side? Let's take a closer look at the core of the problem. If people feel bored from playing the game, it can't be just players who are playing Genshin a lot, but devs made a mistake either. For that reason we need to look here. No, here. Gamma Design. Since I've read these two books on the topic, and watched every single one video about it from a gaming genius, I feel confident enough to call myself a professional game designer, and I can break Genshin Impact into pieces and analyze it. In order for us to get whatever goal we have, we use two types of motivation, internal and external. Let's review this topic closer. Internal motivation is what we actually want or enjoy, having fun. For example, we want to get all the waifus or get the only one which is actually worth it because that's what makes us happy. But there's also external motivation coming into play. I'm logging into the game in order to escape punishment, meaning missing out on a generous daily reward of 60 primogems. And if in many games these two motivations can work together, in Genshin they conflict with each other. For example, hey, MiHoYo, I've been farming for Bale for 3 to 4 months. Can I get her please?
Sure, buddy.
You failed!
My external motivation didn't pay off at this moment and the internal left unfulfilled. I suffered for nothing. Why would I keep playing after that? Well, what about another goal? Maybe this one can satisfy me. Some people say that the game is too easy and that's why it's boring. I have a question for you guys. Do you believe that hard equals fun? If so, then let's put it as our internal motivation and call it overcoming a hard challenge. Let's try to look at this through other games.
What the fuck is this? I can't, my hands are shaking. They're shaking! They're shaking! My carpal tunnel!
This game is called I Wanna Be the Boshi and it's by no means a bad game. The game's difficulty was intended to be the ridiculous. But there's a big chance that internal motivation of average player completely disappeared after thousands of deaths and tries to beat Sonic and the only thing left is misery. The challenge is so hard, so punishing and so unrewarding that not many people have internal motivation to actually enjoy playing it. So, if I want to play a challenging game, I doubt I'll ever play Boshi willingly. But what about
Devil May Cry?
You see, it's not too bad, but he dropped an enemy on the ground before he died. 6 out of 10 pizzas. What I like about this series is that it follows a great concept, easy to learn, hard to master. You probably already heard this one if you're into competitive games. In case of DMC, as a new player you probably know how to spam simple combos and randomly found out how to use Stinger. With some effort you might even beat normal difficulty. But the real fun starts when you go through YouTube combo videos, with a thought, damn, so if I barely beat Virgil after 20 attempts I am still not cool enough. This series has so much room for player skills improvement, it's crazy. And for this reason internal and external motivation complement each other. But what if I am a normal player and I don't want to suffer for hours to feel a few seconds of dopamine rush after beating a challenge? Well, let's look at the holy capital of every casual player, Nintendo Switch. Or to be more precise, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Personally, I've never had a Nintendo Switch and that's why I've never played this game. But from what I've seen it's not really a hard game, but for some reason it is still fun. I believe that's because it's a type of a game which gives you a lot of instruments to create a unique experience for yourself. That way player get a vast majority of options to interact with the world.
Legend of Zelda Pro Skate. Uh-oh. Wait.
Let's look at an example, which is more familiar for most of us, Minecraft. The same idea works here as well. Like Zelda, in this game you can discover so many things just by playing it and not suffering in the process. You might struggle to understand the whole potential of the game, but the game doesn't punish you that badly, but encourages you to experiment. So internal and external motivation of such games also complement each other. So let's come back to our motivation list. Welcome back. So on the first look, our games aren't connected and can't have the same motivation, different genres, settings, audience, etc. In fact, the internal motivation of some games didn't meet the base criteria of overcoming a hard challenge. They were different in the end. But there is actually a major connection. Look closely. I believe this is the reason why most of the games are so exciting to play. We are always trying something new because we are constantly looking for fresh ideas, concepts, or a new way to experience games. And if the game stops providing new discoveries, it will become boring eventually, and difficulty is only one of the many instruments to present something new to the player.
Bastard!
It doesn't make sense. I don't even like most of the genres. How the fuck learning process will be the most important stuff here?
No, that's fucking wrong. Well, my boy, I have an answer to that. Games are much more complex. So, I don't believe that learning process is the only type of motivation, but I think it's the major aspect of any game. Other types of gameplay motivation can attract you to try the game, but would they be able to keep you engaged for the whole playthrough? I doubt it. By the way, how is Genshin Impact doing in this department? Popular thought for today is that the game is easy and there's not enough endgame content. I disagree with the first point, because Genshin doesn't have to be hard, and I don't really agree with the second one being a major issue either. Why? Let's look into the story of Rico Medellin for a bit. He worked in some kind of fabric and did certain manipulations with objects that passed near him every day. He did that daily for who knows how many times, but one day he created a challenge for himself. He decided to beat his previous record of 43 seconds. After 5 years he improved his personal best result to 23 seconds.
Holy shit! I can't believe it! I fucking deserve this, I deserve it. Fuck, I deserve this shit. I worked so hard for this, I deserve it.
You know what's the sad fact that bound this story to Genshin? We actually can have fun with our daily routine, but if it's as shallow as the working process of Rico Medellin, then a lot of people will become bored. Why? Not because of the drought on content, but because core gameplay, or the learning potential of the game is not deep enough from the start. I mean, you can make challenges like Envy, to Auto or Akron. But they are only fun for them because it's their content and money. For normal people there's no reason to do that. Rico Medellin at least got paid, but Genshin Impact players are not rewarded in any way. They can't learn anything by doing that. They can't master anything either, and there's no system which would motivate them to have fun with their daily routine except 60 primos and shitty artifacts. And a lot of content is not the thing which suddenly will make Genshin fun. In Honkai players have a lot of content, main story, challenges, DMC-like mode, roguelike and etc., but the gameplay suffers from the same problem as Genshin. Some players even expressed that they are fatigued from the amount of content they have to do, so even a lot of content is not a guarantee of constantly good experience with a game. And the problem with Genshin is not only with complex stuff like fighting, but also simpler things like the gliding mechanic. We are using it every day and it's incredibly boring. Look at Batman Arkham Knight, it looks great and you can move around fast, and it depends on you how fast and cool you are going to travel through Arkham. Can't say the same about gliding in Genshin. For this reason, the exploring part of the game suffers from that. Things getting worse when MiHoYo flexing. And then do this.
To the game and just keep on recasting the shield, because nothing matters, because all you got to do is recast your E and keep on left clicking, and pretty much the game will be over pretty much any second now. Oh damn. Oh yeah, he does that, huh? Oh yeah, that charge. We're supposed to dodge that, huh?
Broken characters are not the only problem. The game basically doesn't reward you for being good. Look at the classic Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. If you learn how to do a quick scope, you are going to dominate the pub. On higher levels it's just crucial. If you are making a game which is supposed to be played on a daily basis, then you need to have mechanics which would reward high skill players for mastering a certain mechanic or motivate players to play around by interacting with the world. But how is MiHoYo trying to motivate you to do anything? By designing the most boring characters. I mean, look at the archers. Every single one of them sucks except Ganyu, I guess. I mean, Child had a potential, but MiHoYo thought for themselves, what if we make main stand terrible and the other one great, but we put on the good one a stupid CD? You know the character named Fishla? Yamiya is just a cookie clicker simulator. Amber. Sarah is hot, but clunky and boring version of Bennett. But that's also not the only issue with gameplay. A lot of bosses stall too much by literally not letting you play. Some bosses and normal enemies have invincibility frames and some of them just awkward to fight in general. And how does MiHoYo make them fun to fight? Put them into an abyss with a billion HP. Wow. But it doesn't make game hard, only annoying. I think it's understandable at this point that your boredom might be caused by shallow core gameplay, which is unrewarding and focuses only on DPS checks and grinding. And my motivation list only proves that. If our internal motivation doesn't work anymore, then that means only external motivation forcing us to come back to the game, which is causing you to feel like you are not playing but working, and you get bored as a result. But I'm also not delusional, and if you watch this video and think for yourself,
but I don't feel bored,
that only means that you are from another huge group of player base and you have another motivation. I touched only upon two major ones, collecting and gameplay. You might like aesthetics or you might dig into story, which is questionable, but lore seems good at least. I like aesthetics and I got my favorite character, so I'm a happy boy, but I understand why a lot of people feel bored. So, this is short resume of my stupid ass video. So the conclusion is, if you do not agree with any of my points or you see some plot holes in my script, then